Hi dear students, welcome to the first session of biology. First of all, let me just describe to you. Biology is a study of living things. But what is a living thing? Living things have certain characteristics. All living things, they have an order. They are sensitive or they respond to the environment. They reproduce, they adapt, they grow, they develop, and they bring about homeostasis. They use energy, they evolve, and when we view together, all these characteristics serve to define life. Now, what do you mean by they have an order? That means if you look into each and every living thing, okay, they have a particular type of characteristics or a stable characteristics which define their own existence, and all of them will respond to the environment. If a fire comes, or the living things will respond to that. If there is this extreme cold, or if there is an extreme heat, the living organisms will respond to it accordingly. Then they will reproduce or they will form new forms. And if there is any change which is happening in the environment, or if they have to live in a particular environment, they will adjust themselves or adapt themselves to the environment, and they will grow, they will develop, and they will also try to bring homeostasis. What do you mean by homeostasis? Homeostasis is a situation in which a regular situation or a balance is being brought about. So, whatever be the condition in which they are living, they try to bring a stability or a control and a regularity is being brought about by the living organisms. And they also process their energy and they evolve. And when they bring about all these characteristics, when an organism exhibits all these characteristics, we call it as a living thing. So, the term order, it means that organisms are highly organized. And you can see that all the coordinate structures, whatever living form it is, they consist of about one or more cells. And let it be a small microscopic cell, or let it be a large, you see, they are made up of cells. And the cells join together, resulting in the formation of tissues. And the tissues join together to form a organs, and the organs form together, joined together to form the organ systems. So every organism which we consider, they have characteristics specialized for their own nature. Now, for example, a frog will have a type of tissue, or which will have a characteristics, characteristic specific for a frog. But whatever be the characteristic, okay, every living organism, okay, or every part of this frog is made up of cells, and the cells will join together to form a tissue, and the tissue will form together to form organs, and the organs will form the organ systems. So this is the same in the case of every living organism which we consider. And if you go to look into inside the cell, you can see that inside the cell they will also consist of what? Atoms. They'll atoms which will constitute, will combine together to form molecules, and they will all join together to form cell organelles and other cell inclusions. These all will be formed within a cell. Now, what are the peculiarities of the living things? All the living things, they carry out lots of vital functions for their sustenance, and the size of it would be quite different. Now, for example, if you go to look into an adult, okay, uh, the size of an adult person is different. If you have a frog egg, it is in the millimeter scale. And if you go to take a bacteria, you get look in you, it is in a micrometer scale. What do you mean by micrometer? Micrometer is 10 to the power of minus 6, or 1 by 10 raised to 6. That is the size of micrometer. Or you might also have nanometer size organisms. That is, a nanometer is 10 raised to minus 9, or it is equivalent to 1 by 10 raised to 9. So different types of living forms are being present. Okay, and in all these living forms, okay, there are certain molecules which have been found to be common, like proteins, lipids, and all that. They will be common. So in this coming sessions, we would be learning about what are they. Okay. Now, the second characteristic of a living thing is they respond to a stimulus. If you touch a touch me not plant, it will what? It will fold. If you go touch, now not touch, if you're considering a bacteria, it will move towards or away from a chemical. Or there are some which move towards light. So that is a characteristic of a living form. Now, every organism will reproduce and form a new form. Let it be a small organism or let it be a big organism. If it is being found to be living, it will reproduce. Then the second one is a growth and development. What do you mean by growth? Growth is increase in size. Now, for example, a baby elephant is smaller than a mother elephant. Okay. So, as the baby elephant ages or as it grows, what happens? It is producing more and more cells and the size of the cell also increases. So growth is a part of the what? Of life. And what do you mean by development? Development means what? And at each and every stage of its growth, what? Every organism will undergo certain mod changes. Now, for example, when it reaches puberty, it becomes what? Certain adult-like features will start coming into the organism. So that is growth and development. That is all a specialty of a living organism. And it tries to maintain a homeostasis and regulation. What do you mean by homeostasis? It is to bring a stable nature. Now, for example, if the temperature has been found to be fluctuating, okay, for that the polar bear is, or if it's a very cold environment, what happens? The polar bear will develop a mechanism in which the stable temperature is being maintained. So, homeostasis, the term homeostasis means a steady state, or you try to maintain that what the same type of the current or constant temperature is being maintained by it, and that is being carried is referred to as a homeostasis, and it is a feature of a living organism. Now, then we also have energy processing. That is, every organism, when they take a food, they will break down that food into smaller particles and they will start making energy so that every cell can utilize it. Now, if it is a living thing, no, if it is a photosynthetic type of organism, that time also it will make some what? Chemical energy. Okay. So the photosynthetic chemical energy which has been prepared by the plant as well as by certain bacteria, that will be utilized by certain other organism or the herbivores and all, and the energy transfer happens between in all the living organisms. So this is the definition of life, and in the coming sessions we will be learning about what living things are made up of, that is the biomolecules. Thank you for now.